Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If you can, we are going to start straight away. And if you are hearing me, you say yes in the comment, in the chat box. If you can hear me, say yes. Okay, that is sure that we are on, and we are going to start. I hope you can see the screen I'm sharing. Can you see the screen? What the document I've shared? Can you see the document? Okay, if you can see, we'll start right away. So, okay, so if you can see the screen, others are still joining, but we won't wait for them. We'll start right away. Okay, so just like I'd said earlier, we'll be looking at this. There's 100 questions that we want to look at. So, the purpose or the aim of this is to time yourself and see how much you can do within the time given to you. So I want to look at the areas we have covered so far. So, number one question, the quantity that has magnitude only is, the quantity that has magnitude only is A, force, B, velocity, C, scalar, D, vector. And the answer is C, scalar. Which, number two, which of the following is a fundamental quantity? A, area, B, length, C, density, D, force. We know that the basic fundamental quantities are length, mass, and time. So what we have here is length, and the answer is B. And number three, which is a derived quantity? A, time, temperature, B, C, area, D, mass. When you look at these options, you have time, temperature, and mass. Time, temperature, and mass are fundamental quantities. So the derived quantity here is area. which is length times breadth. I will say that a derived quantity is that which depends on other parameters. So it's area that depends on length and the breadth. And number four is the SI unit for force is A joules, B Newton, C Pascal, D watts. The solution is Newton's second law, which is F equal to ma. So this Newton's. And number five, the SI unit for density is A kilogram per meter cube, B kilogram per meter square, C kilogram per meter, and D meters cube per kilogram. So when you look at these answers, they are straightforward and at the same time confusing. Density is mass per unit volume. So mass is in kilogram, volume is in meters cube. So if you see like option A is kilogram per meters cube. But when you also look at option D, meters cube per kilogram, they are not the same. So the correct answer is kilogram per meters cube. Question 6. If mass is equal to 4 kg, 2 meters cube, density is what? We know that density is mass all over volume. And the mass is given in kg, that is 4, and the volume is 2. So by the time you divide that, you have 2 kilograms per meters cube, which is option B. Which is option B. So we move on to which instrument measures small diameter accurately? Which instrument measures the small diameter accurately? The options are A, meter rule, B, vernier calipers, C, stopwatch, D, balance. And the answer is vernier caliper. It measures both the internal and the external diameters, like the bottle, the diameter of a bottle, and things like, yes, bottle. You can measure both the internal and external diameter, like the beakers in the laboratory. We can use vernier caliper to measure the internal or the diameters accurately. So the answer is B. Question 8. The last count of a vernier caliper equals to MSD minus VSD. B. MSD plus VSD. C. MSD times VSD. And D. MSD divided by VSD. What is MSD? Main scale divisions. What is VSD? Vernier scale division. So for us to get the last count of the vernier caliper, we subtract the main scale division and the vernier scale division. So A is the correct answer. I repeat, MSD means main scale division, and the VSD means vernier scale division. So the correct answer here is A. So we'll move on to question 9, which is not a fundamental quantity? A. Time. B. Mass. C. Velocity. D. Temperature. The correct answer here is velocity. Velocity is a derived quantity and not fundamental. Question 10. The dimension of velocity is Lt raised to power minus 1, Lt, L square T, and L over T. For us to know the dimension, you must know either the unit or the formula. So what is the unit of velocity? Meters per second. Meters is the length divided by the time, which is second. So by the time you take the inverse is Lt raised to power minus 1. So A is the correct option. Question 11. The SI unit of work is the SI unit of work is A Joule, C watts, D Pascal. Work is force times distance, and it's either measures in joules or newtons meter. So once you see joules, sometimes it may be newtons meters. So once you see joules and newtons meter is not there, the correct answer is A. Then power is defined as A. Work divided by time. B. Force times distance. C. Force divided by time. And D. Energy times time. Power is work done. The rate of doing work is what we call power. The rates of doing work. So power is work done divided by time, and A is the correct answer. Question 13. Which system of unit is internationally used? A. CGS. B. FPS rather. C. SI. And D. MKS. We all know that is SI, which is System International. So the answer is C. And question 14. Dimension of force is A. MLT raised to power minus 2. B. ML square T raised to power minus 2. C. ML T raised to power minus 1. And D. ML square T. What is force? For you to know the dimension of this force, what is force? Mass times acceleration. And M stand for mass. Acceleration is meters per second square. Acceleration is meters per second square. And meter is length. Second per means division. So that will be ml divided by t square. And taking the inverse will be ml t raised to power minus 2. And A is the correct answer. And question 15. Please, if there's If there's any challenge, you let me know. If there's any challenge, you let me know in the chat box. I can see some people are answering the questions. That's a good one. Um, it is good. I will do it together. And so we'll continue with question 15. If force is equal to 10 Newton and distance is equal to 5 meters, work done is equal to what? Force work done is equal to force times distance, and that will be 10 multiplied by 5, which is 15 joules. And and the correct answer is C. The SI unit of electric current is A, as question 16. The SI unit of electric current is A, volts, B, ampere, C, coulomb, D, watts. The correct answer is A, ampere. B, ampere, not A. Then pressure is defined as A, force over area, B, area over force, C, force times area, and D, mass times area. You can see that the options are almost confusing, but we know that pressure is force per unit area. That is force all over area. Force per unit area is force over area. So the correct answer is A. If you look at option C, it says force times area, and option B say area over force. That is area per force, which is wrong. So the correct answer here is A. And we'll look at question 18. The SI unit of pressure is A, Newton, Pascal, C, joules, D, watts. The correct answer is Pascal, which is B. Is equal to 19. If force is equal to 20 Newton and area is equal to 4 meters square, pressure will be what? Pressure is force per unit area. So if you divide 20 by 4, it will give us 5 Pascal. And the correct answer is C. Question 20. Vernier reading consists of A, main scale reading, B, vernier scale reading, C, both A and B, and D, none. Vernier reading consists of both the main scale and the vernier scale reading. So the correct answer is C. Question 21. Which is a vector quantity? A vector quantity is that which has both magnitude and direction. So the following options are this: A, speed, B, temperature, C, velocity, D, mass. Velocity is a vector quantity because we define velocity as the rate of change of displacement, and displacement is the distance moved in a specified direction. So the correct answer is C. Question 22. Question 22. Dot product of two vectors gives A scalar, B vector, C tensor, and D matrix. We say this that the dot product is the dot product of two vectors gives a scalar. So the answer is A. And question 23, which is interesting. Dot product formula is AB sine theta, AB cos theta, A plus B, A minus B. So looking at this, AB cos theta is the dot product. AB sin theta is the cross product. You need to know the difference between this. Option A is defining the cross product, and option B is defining the dot product. So the dot product formula is A cos theta, which is option B. And question 24, cross product gives A scalar, B vector, C number, D constant. Cross product gives vector, while dot product gives scalar. You should know the difference between this. I repeat, cross product gives vector, while dot product gives scalar. So the correct answer is B, vector. Question 25. Cross product magnitude is AB cos theta, no, AB sin theta, which is the correct one. The answer is B. Then question 26. Question 26. Take that 26. Vectors are perpendicular. Dot product is equal to A1, B 0, C AB, D AB minus AB. If two vectors are perpendicular, perpendicular means what? They are acting at an angle of 90. Then their dot products will be A1, B 0. The answer is B 0. We define dot product of AB cos theta. So if the angle is 0, it means we're talking about cos 90, which is 0. So if two vectors are perpendicular, they are acting at an angle of 90. The dot product is 0. So the correct answer is A 5. If we take the square root of 3 square plus 4, 3 square is 9 plus 4 is square of 3 is 9, square of 4 is 16, and that gives you a total of 25. So square root of 25 is 5. So the correct answer is A. The resultant of two vectors 3n and 4n at 90 degrees. That the two vectors are acting at an angle of 90 degrees. So for us to get the resultant, we use Pythagoras theorem or rule, which is square root of 3 square plus 4 square. And 3 square, and remember you can only use Pythagoras rule if you are dealing with a right angle. If the angle is not 90 degrees, you can never use Pythagoras rule. So if you are talking about the right angle triangle, it's a triangle in which one of the angles is 90 degrees. So that is the only condition you can apply Pythagoras rule. So taking the square of 3 plus 4, square of 3 is 9 plus 4, 16, and then we have 25. Square root of 25 is 5. So the resultant is A, 5. And question 29. Resolution of vectors means A, adding vectors, B, splitting vectors into components, C, multiplying vectors, D, rotating vectors. When you are resolving the vectors, you are not adding them, you are splitting the vectors into components. So the answer is B. 30 unit vectors are IJK, ABC, XYZ, PQR. What is a unit vector? It's a vector that has its magnitude 1 or unity. So we represent unit vector in the form of IJK. IJK. So know that. And 31. 31. 31. If A is equal to 2I plus 3J and B is equal to I plus J. Remember, I plus J means 1I plus 1J. So A dot B is equal to, we simply multiply 2 by 1 plus 3 by 1. So 2 plus times 1 is 2 plus 3 times 1 is, so if you add up, it's going to give us 5. So the correct answer is A. Question 32. If A cross B is equal to 0, then the vectors are A perpendicular, B parallel, C opposites, and D equal. We say this, that if we're talking about cross products and equal to, when you cross the two product and it's equal to 0, it means that the two vectors are parallel to each other. And the correct answer is B. 33 angles between perpendicular vectors A 0, B 45, C 90, and D 180. The correct answer is, when you are talking about perpendicular vector, they are acting at an angle of 90 degrees. So the correct answer is C. 34. Maximum cross product occur when theta is equal to A 0 degree, B 45 degrees, C 90 degrees, D 180. Maximum cross product occur when the angle is 90 degrees. So the correct answer is C. We have answered a similar question like this. If A dot B is equal to 0, vectors are The other one was A cross B equal to 0. So if A dot B is equal to 0, what happened? The vectors are A parallel, B perpendicular, C equal, D opposite. They are acting at an angle of 90 degrees. That is when you talk about, the definition of dot product is AB cos theta. So AB cos 90 will give us 0. So the answer is B. 36. Resultants of equal opposite vectors. A maximum, B 0, C equal, D infinite. When you are talking about resultant of two vectors that are moving in the opposite direction, you normally subtract. If they are moving in the same direction, you add. So in this case, they say resultant of equal vectors, the resultant of equal opposite vectors. It means that if they are in opposite direction and they are equal, by the time you subtract, you have 0. So the answer is B. A vector of magnitude 10 at 60 degrees has horizontal component that. Remember, when you are talking about horizontal is cos theta, vertical is sin theta. So in this case, the magnitude is 10 at 60. So you are talking about 10 cos 60. And what is cos 60? Is half. Half times 10 will give us 5. So the correct answer is A. And 38. The vertical component of the same vector. We are still referring to question 37. In this case, we are talking about 10 sine 60 because when you resolve on the vertical component is sine theta. So, and the value of sine 60 is 0.866 multiplied by 10 will give us 8.66, and the correct answer is B. 39. Resultants of vectors in the same direction. When vectors are moving in the same direction, do you add? Do you subtract? Question A, option A is a difference. B, sum. C, 0. D, product. So if you are moving in the same direction, you sum or you add. They are moving in the opposite direction, you subtract or find the difference of the two vectors. But the question is asking us resultant of vectors in the same direction. So we're talking about sum, and the answer is B. The magnitude of a unit vector is A 0, B 1, C 2, and D is pi. Definition of unit vector is a vector that has its magnitude 1 or unity. So the answer is B. 41. Motion means A, change in position with time, B, change in energy, C, change in mass, D, change in force. Motion takes place when there's a change in position with respect to time. So the answer is A. 42. 42. Well, some people are complaining that we're not seeing the question. Don't worry. Just keep listening. After this, I will know what to do. And if you have a paper As I'm reading, you can jot the parameters and try to answer with me. It will help you. And later I can share this thing with you. Is that okay? So, question 42. Rectilinear motion occurs in A. Straight line, B. Circular path, C. Zigzag, and D. Spiral. This is a straightforward answer. A. Motion on a straight line is called rectilinear motion. Question 43. Speed is equal to distance over time. B. Displacement over time. C. Acceleration over time. And D. Velocity over time. Speed is distance over time. When you're talking about B, displacement over time, we're talking about velocity. And acceleration over time. So the option here is A, distance over time. And that's the reason why speed is a scalar quantity. Then velocity includes A, direction, A, B, magnitude, A, mass, C, mass, and D, energy. Velocity includes direction because velocity is distance covered in the specified direction. So velocity includes direction. So A is the correct answer. Acceleration is the v dt, A, B, the x dt, C, the s dt, and D, the v. Rate of change of velocity over time. So A is the correct answer. B is talking about rate of change of distance over time. And C is talking about rate of change of speed over time. So acceleration is rate of change as the v dt, rate of change of velocity over time. And A is the correct answer. A body starting from rest accelerate 2 meters per second square for 5 seconds. Finds the velocity. From rest, we know that u, initial velocity is 0. So the equation of motion we can appeal to is the equation v is equal to u plus at. And what we are looking for is the final velocity. So v is equal to 0 plus a, which is 2 times 5. So the answer is 10 meters per second. And still referring to that same question 46, the question 47 is asking what is the distance traveled in the above case. We'll now use the last equation. Distance is equal to, that is s equal to ut plus half at squared. The u is 0. The u is 0. So if you multiply by that t, everything there becomes 0. So you are left with half at squared. So if you multiply 0.5 times 2 times 25, it also gives you 25 meters. But we can alternatively, you can also use the equation s is equal to v plus u over 2 times t. So if you use that equation, you still have the same answer. So you can try it. Question 47. Use equation this equation. If you have a pen, you can write it down. S is equal to V plus U over 2 times T. Remember, we have calculated V. Is that right? We have calculated V, and our V is 10. V plus 0, because U is 0, divided by 2, and that will give us 5 times the time 5. That will still give us 25 meters. So any of this equation you use, you still arrive at the same thing. So we'll move to 48. Newton's first law is the law of A, inertia, B, acceleration, C, motion, D, force. A, it is a law of inertia. The reluctance, what is the inertia? The reluctance of a body to start moving when the body is stationary and stop moving when the body is in motion, when force is applied. So the first law states that the body will continue in state of rest or uniform motion unless acted upon by external force. And that's the reason why it is also called the law of inertia. So the correct answer is A. Newton's second law, A equal to F equal to ma, B F equal to mv, C F equal to m over a, and D F equal to ma square. Newton's second law is F equal to ma, and the answer is A. So we are making progress. So if there's any challenge, please make sure we can see. I'm trying my best. So then Newton's number 50, Newton's third law states that A, action equal to reaction, B, force constant, C, energy constant, and D, motion constant. Third law, for every action there's always a reaction in the opposite direction. So A is the correct answer. And 51, force required to accelerate 3 kg at 4 meters per second square. So F is equal to mass is given as 3 kg times the acceleration. So that is 12. And the correct answer is A. If velocity constant, acceleration, A 0. If velocity is constant, what happens to acceleration? That is what the question is saying. If velocity is constant, A, acceleration is 0, B, acceleration is constant, C, acceleration is infinite, and D, it is variable. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. So if the velocity is constant, the acceleration becomes 0. So the correct answer is A. The slope of a velocity time graph gives velocity time graph. We are plotting velocity against time. Velocity on the vertical axis and time on the velocity on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. So when you are talking about velocity time graph, what you are defining is acceleration. Velocity time graph. If it is displacement time graph, we're talking about velocity. If it is distance time graph, we're talking about speeds. So the question 53, the slope of a velocity time graph gives A acceleration, which is the correct answer. Not B, not C, and not D. The area under the velocity time graph is called A. The area under the velocity time graph. When we're talking about velocity time graph, the area we're talking about the displacement. You can see that the question is somehow uh, trickish, but it is very clear. Here you're talking about not the first one is talking about the slope. Here you're talking about the area, and it is called the displacement, which is B. Inertia depends on S53, A velocity, B mass, C acceleration, and D force. Inertia depends on mass, which is B. If U is equal to 10 meters per second, A is equal to 2 meters per second square, T is equal to 3 seconds. Find the final velocity. Using that equation of motion, V is equal to U plus AT. Everything is given, so it substitutes and gives us 16. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 10 is 16. Those options, there's a mistake there. Those options will carry units. The final velocity becomes 14 meters. That is A option should be 14 meters. You can write it down meters per second, 16 meters per second, C 12 meters per second, 18 meters per second. Shouldn't be just that. So the correct answer is 16 meters per second. If force doubles acceleration, if force doubles acceleration, A, if force doubles acceleration, A will have double, B halves, C constant, and D 0. So the answer is force act on A same body, B different body, C same direction, D same point. The answer is B. So friction opposes A motion, B force, C energy, D mass. The correct answer is motion. Friction opposes motion. And 60. And 60. If distance is equal to 100 meters in 10 seconds, what is speed? You know that speed is distance all over time. So 100 by 10 will give us 10 meters. So the correct answer is B. Acceleration when velocity changes 20 meters per second to 40 meters per second in 5 seconds. So acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity over time. So if you do that, you have 40 minus 20 divided by 5. 40 minus 20 is 20 divided by 5. So the correct answer would be 4, which is 4 meters per second square. And what is the unit of acceleration? It's meters per second square. And the correct answer is B. And 63, uniform motion means A, constant velocity, B, constant acceleration, and C, variable velocity, D, zero velocity. Uniform motion means constant velocity, and the answer is A. So 64, displacement is A, scalar, no, B, vector. So the answer is B. Displacement is a vector quantity. Displacement is a distance traveled in a specified direction. So you don't need to waste time on that. Average velocity equal to displacement over time. Velocity, B, distance over time, C, acceleration over time, D, velocity over time. The answer is A, displacement over time. Linear momentum is mass times velocity. That is mv, and the answer is A there. Linear momentum, product of mass and its velocity. So the answer is A. And momentum, what's the unit of momentum? What is the unit of momentum? Momentum is mass times velocity. Mass is kilogram. Velocity is meters per second. So the answer is A. So momentum of 5 kg moving at 4 meters per second. Momentum of 5 kg moving at 4 meters per second. Simply multiply the two and the answer is B. That is 5 times 4. And what is impulse? Product of force and time, which is A. So A is force times change in time. B, force times time square. Force divided by time and time divided by force. We will know that impulse is equal to force times change in time. The force 70. Force of 10 Newton acting for 3 seconds. What is the impulse? You simply multiply the force and the time. And that is 30 Newton seconds, which is C. And 71, impulse equals change in momentum from Newton's second law of motion. The rate of change of momentum directly depends on the applied force. So by the time you cross multiply, you have Ft equal to change in momentum. So the correct answer here is momentum, B. Momentum conserves when A, external force 0, B, acceleration 0, C, velocity 0, D, energy 0. When external force is 0, that is when you talk about conservation of momentum, and A is the answer. And 73, inelastic collision. In inelastic collision, kinetic energy conserved, B, momentum conserved, A, both, D, none. is both kinetic energy and momentum are conserved. So the correct answer is C. Then 74. In elastic collision, A. Kinetic energy conserved, B. Momentum conserved, and C. Both, D. None. The answer is momentum is conserved. The energy is kinetic energy is not conserved. I would say that this is in the practical sense. When collision happen, what normally takes place is inelastic collision. And 75. Completely inelastic collision. A. Bodies stick together. B. Bodies separate. C. Body accelerates. And D. Body rotates. The obvious answer there is they stick together and move with a common velocity. So A is the correct answer. At 76, rocket motion based on A. Conservation of momentum, correct. Conservation of energy, no. First law, Newton's first law, and D, inertia. The movement of motion of a rocket is based on conservation of momentum. Recoil of a gun demonstrates A. Newton's third law, B. Momentum conservation, C. Both, and D. None. It demonstrates both Newton's third law and momentum conservation. That is C. And 78. 78. If mass doubles momentum, what happens? A. Doubles. B. Halves. C. Constant. D. Zero. The answer is obvious. A. Doubles. Then 79. Momentum direction same as A. Velocity. B. Force. C. Acceleration. D. Mass. The same thing as velocity. E. Total momentum before collision equals A. Zero. B. Total momentum after. C. Half. D. Infinite. Total momentum before collision equals total momentum after collision. That is a conservation of occurs along A. Straight line. B. Circular path. The obvious answer there is B. Circular path. Uniform circular motion. A. Constant speed. B. Constant velocity. C. Constant force. And D. Constant acceleration. This constant speeds. We talk about uniform circular motion. Angular displacement unit is A. Radians. B. Meter. C. Second. D. Joule is radian. Angular displacement. Well, when you're talking about linear motion, it is in meters. But in angular, you talk about radians. Angular velocity unit is velocity of change of displacement. So here you are talking about the angular displacement over time, which is radians per second. And A is the correct answer. Relationship between linear and angular velocities. V is equal to R omega. V is equal to omega over R. V is equal to R over omega. V is equal to omega R omega square. So the relationship here is V is equal to omega R or R omega, which is A. Angular acceleration unit is radians per second square, which is A. And linear acceleration units linear acceleration unit is, linear acceleration relation is A equal to R alpha. Correct option: A equal to R alpha, B alpha over R, C R over alpha, and D alpha square. The correct answer is R alpha, which is A. And centripetal acceleration is, there's a difference between centripetal acceleration and centripetal force. So centripetal acceleration is V square over R, and which is the correct one. Then the centripetal force mv square over R. That's question 89, which is A. We are gradually getting to the end. Direction of centripetal force: A towards the center, B outwards, C tangential, D vertical. Is towards the center, while the one that's outward is called centrifugal. Then 91, if V is equal to 20 meters per second and R is equal to 10 meters, centripetal acceleration becomes V square over R. If you square 20, that is 400 over 10, and that gives us 40. Then centripetal force is equal to, mass is 2 kg, V is equal to 10 meters per second, R is equal to 5 meters. If you substitute that, mass times V is 10. If you square 10, that is 100 divided by 2. And the answer will give us 40 Newton. And time, 93. Time for one revolution is, time for one oscillation or revolution is period, which is A. Time, one revolution is something as periods. So we're talking about, or circle, one revolution, oscillation, or circle. Time for one oscillation, one revolution, one circle is period A. Frequency is 1 over T, which is A. And angular velocity is both, angular velocity is both 2 pi f, 2 pi over T. And the answer is C. And 96. Motion of satellites: A. Circular motion, linear motion, as B. C. Oscillation, and D. Random. A. Circular. And 97. A stone tied to string moving in a circular experiences A. Centripetal force, B. Gravitational force, frictional force, and D. None. The centripetal force A. 98. Maximum speed in vertical circle occur at A. Top, B. Bottom, C. Side, D. Center. Is at the top. 99. We have banking of road provides A. Centripetal force, B. Friction, C. Gravity, D. Inertia. Is A. Centripetal force. And centrifugal force acts: A. Outward center, away from the center, B. Tangential, and D, vertical, is away from the center. So this is where we'll stop for today. I We're going to stop here. So many of you have gotten the answers. That shows good understanding, and I encourage you to continue doing this. At the end of the day, you are going to smile because you you'll be happy with yourselves. Like I always say, there's no secret in this. It's hard work. So gentlemen and ladies, we'll stop here. Towards the exam period, we'll do this again. If there's no question, I'm ending the class. See you guys.